Right, I'm here in the historic Brookville community. And here is the Salem Church and Community Hall right in front of me. And all this is historic in terms of the African American experience here in Montgomery County, Maryland. I showed you earlier some of the African American history, and I'm continuing in to the larger, bigger, historic Brookville community. Hopefully you'll appreciate the historical reference points that I'm probably tried to share with you as I get my 5-mile walk on. By the way, as part of this 5-mile walk, sometimes I got to be careful walking across the street here. That's for Dead Up Shore. I'm here on 90. It's Route North Maryland 97, which is right here, as you can see. 97 North. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep on walking down here. You'll see some of what goes on in Brookville. Kind of quiet community. In fact, not kind of quiet, very quiet community here. But as I said, it got some huge slavery roots. Huge slavery roots. Let me see. Here's an interesting thing on Brookville. In fact, I'm going to read from this Brookville history piece here. On June 28, 1863, Confederate General G.E.B. Stuart left Rockville with 3 cavalry brigades and 125 captured Union supply wagons and more than 400 military and civilian prisoners arriving in Brookville that night. At every opportunity, prisoners Major James Dewan, Chief Engineer, Army for the Potomac, and Captain Nathaniel, like that name, Mishler, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, urged Stuart to parole them. Finally consenting, Stuart prepared paroles at Brookville and Cooksville the next morning, slowing his advance. The prisoners were not fed. Only white men were permitted to stop for water as they crossed the streams. Do you hear? You hear me now? This is the history. The Confederates slashed at blacks as they attempted to drink, and shot one who was too weak to continue. Most civilian prisoners walked home from Brookville. Thomas Bailey and Mortimer Molden, a Rockville postmaster and provost marshal, refused to parole because he feared Eblin, a recuperating young Union soldier, would be shot if he could not keep pace. They marched to Cooksville and were released the night of June 20th. Bailey and Molden helped Emblem back to Rockville, sometimes carrying them. Altogether, they walked about 70 miles. That's the history, some of the history of Brookville in terms of prisoners that were paroled during the Gettysburg campaign. Interesting that black folks were shot, and they didn't let the black folks go, but the other folks left. See anything wrong with that picture? Anyway, so this is let's see. Here's another placard. Here's another. I don't know what you call these things that they have up here, but you'll see it right here. August 26, 1814, in this village, President Madison and members of the official family found refuge in the home of Caleb Bentley, the first postmaster in Brookville, following the burning of the Capitol and the White House by the British Army. Many other refugees in Washington also found shelter here. Erected in 1964. This placard was erected in 1964. But in, let me see, August 1814, that's what happened. So even the President of the United States Did you hear me? The President of the United States President Madison found refuge here. I'm sure that there were some people that were slaves that made sure that the President of the United States was protected. President Madison, I'm sure, have no doubt about it. That was their job, right? Anyway, continuing with my walk. So you have this Brookville area of the country. Flag still waving, by the way. This was a central point of slavery in the United States of America. Go figure, right? Oh yeah, I can walk down this walkway here. Not sure how historic in terms of landmarks there are, but I'm gonna walk down here. You know why? Because I'm getting my exercise on. So if I'm getting my exercise, oh yeah, I'm deep, and it's comfortable today. Let's put it that way. But I wanted to make sure that I had enough gear on just in case I get a little nippy, a little chilly. It's getting darker again as usual. You know how I roll. You know how I do. Nice historic homes coming up and down the street here. I got to admit, there's some beautiful homes. Look like these homes have been here for centuries. Really built up, but rebuilt and so forth. But it looks like they've been here for a long time. In fact, I have no doubt about it. I'm sure that during a period in our American history, there were folks throughout here that were slaves. Let's call it the way it was, right? Briggs House, here you go. Briggs House was built in 1803 by Hannah Brooks Briggs. Oh, wait a minute. This is the Hannah Brooks Briggs House that we mentioned when I was up the road here. I got to show you this right here. The Briggs House was built in 1803 by Hannah Brooks Briggs and her husband Isaac Briggs, who were still living here in 1814. The Briggs owned the house and farm known as the Sharon